everybody. My name is Richard Wilson. Like you said, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Grew up on 105 in the Glenville area. And I'm happy to be here today. How's everybody doing? All right. Happy everybody? Y'all all right? So let me ask you, before we even get started, how many people love the Lord? Raise your hand. Oh my goodness. How many Christians do we got in the house tonight? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, you know, it's easy to say you're a Christian when you live in the heights, in a pretty home. It's easy to say I love the Lord when I got a beautiful car to carry me anywhere I want to go. It's easy to say you love Christ when you have every major credit card it takes to buy you anything you want. But do you still love the Lord when they repossess your car? Do you still love the Lord when you don't have a bank account? Do you still love the Lord when you're homeless? Yes. The answer is yes. You know, when I do this, I oftentimes find it interesting that people, you can't find too many people that don't have belief in God. Is that right? You ever met? I don't know if I've ever ran into anybody that said, I don't believe in God. I mean, I've probably talked to a few atheists and Gnostics, but yeah. But the difference, do anybody know the difference between belief and faith? Because there is a big difference. There's a very big difference. And I'm going to describe that difference. You know, when my daughter Emily was small, we used to play this game. And I put her up on the dresser. She was about 2. And I put her up on the dresser, and I say, jump, Emily, jump into my arms. And at 2 years old, let me tell you something, kids have had an experience with falling. So they definitely understand pain. So she would hesitate, right? She would look at her father and ponder, will he catch me? And I said, well, come on, as I beckoned onto my daughter to jump. And she jumped. Now, the next time we played this game, guess what? She never hesitated to jump into my arms again, because I was her father. And now she had faith, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Now, the key word is evidence. Evidence is fortified in experience. Is that right? Y'all gotta work with me here. I'm the only one up here. Y'all gotta work with me. It's fortified in experience. When you have an experience with the Lord, then you never doubt his omnipotence again. Is that right, man? You looking at me like, why did he walk over here? But hey, man, listen. I want to give praise to the pastor Scott for having me come out here and speak. I want to give honors. Definitely want to give honors to Doris Collins for arranging this thing. It's not easy to put these things together. You know, we come out and we eat, we fellowship. So give her a great big round of applause. Yeah, and I want to give honors to somebody that, man, has been with me since 1973. A member of your church. I want to give honors to somebody, I'm telling you, and it's so special to me because, you know, people can come in and out of your life all your life. And so many times we have these fair weather friends that when we doing well, they right there. But when we fell off, where they go? They disappear. You know what I'm talking about. But here's a sister Brenda Winfrey, that has been with me through the struggles. I mean, the thick, the thin, the ugly, and everything, she's been there. So give Brenda a great big round of applause. Yes, she deserves that. I want to also give honor to my wife, Sandra. And tell her, I know it ain't easy. But you know what you bought when you took it out the lot. Ain't no return. Yeah. So look, here's the thing. When you talk about black history, oftentimes our history goes back to 1619. Africans reached, the colonies arrived at Point Comfort, Virginia, near Jamestown. But you know, we have a history that exceeds long before that. And you know, traditionally when I do these things, I lift up iconic leaders like Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, you know, and not to minimize their role in our life, but guess what, family? there are plenty of people, the unsung heroes, that were never recognized. There are people that they don't have monuments erected. They're not in the history books. They are in unmarked graves, like in Mississippi, where those two, a Jewish guy, a white guy, and a black guy were assassinated and buried in an unmarked grave in Mississippi back in the 60s. But these people were dedicated. And what a lot of people don't know about black history, right, that there were a multicolored effort to free us from slavery. Whites and blacks collectively walking side by side, eating together, crying together, dying together. Yeah. And so for them, you know, I give highest praise because guess what? These people weren't armed with nothing but faith and love. Anybody ever heard of the freedom fighters? Yeah. The freedom fighters went down to Alabama in the 60s to meet with Bull Connor. And I don't know if any of y'all know the history of Bull Connor, but he was something else. Yeah. And those German Shepherds was something else too. And you know, along them lines, I grew up in a nationalist family. My father was an activist. He was all heavily involved in the community affairs. I grew up in that. In Chicago, my people were in different organizations about black nationalism. So I grew up in that. So I had a spirit of nationalism, man. And I wanted to be a community activist. And I was a community activist for 1 hour. Yeah. Man, I saw someone wrong in my neighborhood, and I put on my combat boots, and I put on my dashiki, and I ran up there, and they said, we should not be moved. Man, that police came out there and hit me with that billy club, and I said, you know what? I shall be moved. And that was the last time I was a community activist. I'm gonna tell you, it takes strength. It takes strength, and it takes courage. It takes more than watching this thing from the TV, y'all. Quarterbacking from the stands come out, well, this ain't right, and that ain't right. Man, you got to go down there on the field and play in order to make change. So, you know, it's easy to criticize, family, but we got to put on our jerseys and play. And that's where I'm at today. You know, mothers have contributed to our growth, our security, and our safety. And I don't believe the woman, the sister woman, get enough recognition. You know that? Give yourself a round of applause for the sister woman. Come on, y'all. Let's talk about the sister woman. Let me tell you something. Without the sister woman, it wouldn't have been no Abraham. Without the sister woman, it wouldn't have been no Jesus. Without the sister woman, it wouldn't have been no Martin Luther King, no Medgar Evers, no Malcolm X. It had to be a sister's role in history is epic, y'all. So we gotta make sure we maintain our women. And you know, I don't know, you know, when I read scripture, and I read all the time, I read the stories of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I read Jesus walked on water. I read how Moses parted the Red Sea and all that. But then, not that I'm blaspheming, but hey, listen, can I imagine somebody actually, can I visualize, somebody actually walked on water, they say? Maybe it wasn't there. So I take it at face value, right? Y'all believe that Jesus really turned water into wine? I didn't see it, but I'm faithful, so I believe that he did. But let me tell you something about a miracle. I watched a woman that I met in 1973, raised 7 children, right, on Empire. Her name was Louise Dennis. And I watched this woman, who I believe was an exemplary image of a miracle. I'm talking about back in the 60s, and I'm talking about back when money wasn't flowing, money wasn't fluent. This woman raised 7 children. And I mean, not just raised them right, with values, with morals, with structure, with principles. And so I believe to this day, I don't know if Jesus walked on water for real. I don't know if he turned water into wine. I don't know if Moses parted the Red Sea, but I do know that I saw Louise Dennis give her life for the preservation and the upliftment of her children. So give her a great big round of applause. She's no longer in physical state. She's no longer physically with us, but yet her spirit will resonate in our hearts and our minds forever. Is that right? So look, we're gonna get into a little history. Y'all doing all right? All right. I know y'all got food. Don't go to sleep. Okay, because you know how people act after they eat. But look, we're going to get into a little history. And the reason why history is important, because they say if you don't know your history, you're destined to repeat it. And so, April 12, 1860, can everybody see this?
No.
Wait a minute. April, thank you, man. Always telling me what to do. 1812, April 12, 1861 to April 9, 1865. This is the civil rights, this is the Civil War. And the Civil War was fought over the South. It fought over the slaves. Everybody know that. Okay. But what a lot of people may not know is that, you know, as we ventured on down to here, the 1863 was the Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation was a document drafted by Abraham Lincoln declaring that as of this day, slavery was abolished. Now, a lot of people think in history that you'll read it's 1865. A lot of slaves didn't actually get this message till 2 years later, after 1863. This is where Juneteenth came into play. Juneteenth was an activity that were able to cloak a message where they could come around to all the different plantations and teach that we are actually free. But here's the dangerous part about that. The 13th Amendment, right? The 13th Amendment states in the Constitution that it is illegal against the government to put anybody in slavery or servitude. But there's a caveat with this thing that a lot of you may not know. It was created, black laws and black codes were put into place. Because see, you still had sinister people who weren't ready to let you go. So what they did is drafted this in the Constitution, and they made laws, each state made their laws, where they said that if you break a law, if you break a law, you can be re-enslaved. Is that right? Anybody know that? Did y'all know that? And here's the thing about laws, what were the laws? The laws were a black person couldn't walk in the front door of a restaurant. A black person couldn't walk on the same sidewalk with a white person. You know, all these kind of frivolous laws were made and to put you right back into slavery. And the danger of that, and I know that, and I don't mean to offend or anything like that, but history is history. And in order for us to be better and understand each other, we got to know each other. Is that right, y'all? That's the part y'all say, yeah. Okay. So anyway, look. So this was what happened. The Dred Scott decision. Let's go into the Dred Scott decision. The Dred Scott was a slave, and he made his way to the North for his freedom. And he did live free with his wife and his 2 daughters. But unfortunately for Dred Scott, what he did was he got captured by somebody in the South, because they used to have scouts that would go out and kidnap slaves up north and take them back down south. And though in the north you were free, back in the South you weren't. So he took his case to court, and it was Dred Scott versus Sanford, and he lost. The Supreme Court ruled that you still a slave. And so we looking at a sinister mindset of people who were oppressed during this time, and we have to understand the reason why. And the important thing to understand is the reason why, so we don't repeat those same mistakes. Amen? And so we're going into 1787, the Constitution, right? The Constitution was drafted. Now here's the interesting thing about the Constitution in 1887, right? As we go into the Emancipation Proclamation, we're looking at, remember we said the slaves were free, but now when we go to the Declaration of Independence, which is 1776. Is everybody familiar with that year? 1770. What happens on July 4th? What happens on July 4th?
Independence Day.
Independence Day, that's right. And what do we do on Independence Day? We celebrate. And how do we celebrate it? Y'all are tough crowd, man. We are open. We celebrate. Yeah, y'all, we eat barbecue, we do hot dogs, we do hamburgers. You looking like, man, what in the world are you talking about? What you do on Independence Day? Excuse me? Fireworks? You play with fireworks. Your mother make what you doing on Independence Day? Burgers. What's your name? Jacob. on the 4th of July, that's what we do, right? We eat hamburgers, hot dogs, all that. But guess what, family? On the 4th of July, black people weren't free. No, 1776, you didn't get free till 1883. That's 87 years difference. But yet, we celebrate. We eating hot dogs and everything. But who? Somebody else was free. It wasn't your freedom. So who was free during that time? Right? They were people that broke away from Britain. They were people that broke away from Britain's monarchy and escaped to come to America, and they started the new 13 colonies. And these were the people. You ever heard of the Boston Tea Party? See, that's what this is all about. And, you know, Paul Revere, wanted by land, two by sea. This is what this was all about. This wasn't about you. This wasn't about black people. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying the importance of it is you got to know what you celebrate. Amen? All right. So look, I'm gonna demonstrate. Hey, my man. I'm gonna give you $5 after it's all over. Don't worry about it. Can you help me out with me? No, you just hold. I'll leave you up there with me. Cause you look good. You look good, Sam. I'm telling you. All right, you okay? We're gonna work together. That's a nice But look, here we go, man. Look, now these are inventions. These are inventions, right? The folding chair. Yeah, John Purdy. I tell you what, hey, you know what, man? Help me out, 'cause I'm done. You wanna read these off? Would you?
So number 10, gas heating furnace was invented by Alice H. Parker. And then the gas mask was invented by Garrett Morgan. The golf tee was made by Dr. George Grant. The home security system was made by Marie Van Brown. The ice cream scooper was made by Alfred L. Brow. And the ironing board was made by Sarah Boone. The lawnmower was made by John Albert Burr, and the lawn sprinkler was made by Joseph A. Smith.
You doing good. I got $10.
The automatic gear shift was made by Richard Spike in 1932. The America's first clock was made by Benjamin Banneker. The automatic elevator doors were made by Alexander Miles. The blimp was made by John Pickering. The blood bank was made by Dr. Charles Drew. The clothes dryer was made by George T. Sampson. Dustpan was invented by Lloyd P. Rohr. The electric lamp was made by Louis Latimer. The mailbox was invented by Philip Downing. The modern lock was made by Washington Martin. The modern toilet was made by Thomas Elkin. The mop was invented by Thomas Stewart. Pacemaker was invented by Otis Boykin, and the potato chip was made by George Crump.
Don't embarrass me. I'm gonna come back and get that right out the show. Hey, don't get lost with that shit. Look, you know, it's I want to do something a little different because it's young people in all this, right? And the thing about this thing is, you know, we gotta guard our youth today. We really do, because we live in a perilous time, John. We live in a perilous time. I mean, I would hate for my daughter to have been born seriously in these times with all this going on, these shootings and oh my goodness, the heinous things that you hear on the news. And don't parents, when you kiss your kids goodbye in the morning, don't you just get scared and let them go out their door sometime? That's why we have to be here. Y'all gotta work. Yes? No? Yeah? Okay. So what I mean is, this is. I grew up on Amore, and I remember how we used to go to school. It was kids in school that really wasn't popular, and the kids used to tease. Maybe somebody in this room is experiencing that. Bullying is a big thing today. Cyberbullying is a big thing today. So you know, a lot of our kids are going through horrific experiences that we don't even really know about in these classrooms, right? And so, you know, I remember growing up on Amore, it was a kid named Timothy Williams, right? We were the same age, and we went to school. And I mean, Timothy really wasn't nothing outstanding about his physical makeup that you would say, well, wow. But the kids just didn't like him in school for some reason. And so they used to tease Timmy. And when we got to school, you know, it was with me, I wanted to be with the cool kids. How about y'all? Anybody ever felt like that? I want to be with the cool kids, because when you know you come in the cafeteria, they got a seat for you. The cool kids, everybody liked the cool kids, the teacher liked the cool kids. And nobody really liked Timmy. And so what Timmy did, one day while we were in the backyard playing basketball, Timmy came back there and told everybody that was playing basketball, I'm gonna climb up on top of the garage and jump off bikes. Yeah. And you know, at that point I felt like, man, that's too much, man. I'm going up. And before I could do anything, he did it. He jumped off and landed on the ground. He didn't land on his feet, but he landed, right? And he didn't break nothing. And guess what? The kids gathered around him and helped him up, and they said, man, you crazy, right? But from that day forward, right, he was no longer Timothy Williams. They called him Crazy T. Yeah, they called him Crazy T. See, this is a new identity. See, now Crazy T could come in the cafeteria and get a seat with the cool kids, right? Because he was crazy. So that's what he did. He played his role. I'm Crazy T. And so all throughout the history of our school, his stunts became more and more dangerous, right? And so as the world turned, here we go. We're in high school, right around graduation time. It's a graduation party now. Timmy could ride motorcycles. He could ride dirt bikes. And he had a 750 Cal. For those of y'all, that's a motorcycle. But he jumped on it, and his girlfriend that he got, because he was Crazy T, William couldn't get a girl. Crazy T got a real nice girl. And Timmy came out and she said, Timmy, light it up for me. And he did a wheel stand. I'm telling you, it was stunning. And a car pulled out in front of Timothy, and it hurled his body through the air, and he died. Yeah. Now that's a sad story, right? That's a real sad story. But here's the thing: when I went to his funeral, right, and I sat on the row thinking, wow, man, that must have been a real sad life, man. And guess what it was? I must have been a real sad death. But it really, his life, he gave up his whole life just to be accepted, man. You know what I mean? Just to be accepted. Some of our kids are putting their lives in danger just to be accepted, just to be validated, just for a stamp of approval, just for to say I am somebody. Can anybody in this room identify with that? You know, I know I can. I know I can growing up. You know what I mean? I know because when I grew up, I wore glasses, right? And they were thick. I'm talking about growing up in the 60s, glasses was thick. It wasn't no Cadillacs, it wasn't no Coogee, it wasn't no design. It was one style of glasses, thick. And shot glasses. You know what I mean? And my mother used to make me wear them. My mother I ain't like my mother for that either, because she made me wear them, knowing how people be looking at me. You know, you can't walk up to no girl with no windshield on your face. Hey, can we go to a party? She looked at me like I came from Mars. I hated them glasses. And the kids teasing you. So, you know, I would take my glasses off. Yeah, I remember me and my ex-wife, we were at an event, and I was cool too, man. This in the 80s, I had my Jerry curl, juice everywhere. I was nice too. We down at the theater, and I'm talking to my man. I ain't got no glasses on. I couldn't see him, but I feel it. And I'm talking to my man, and my ex-wife standing there, and I said, why you standing next to me? Why don't you go on in the theater? So she went on in the theater, so when I got to talking to my man, I went through the double doors. You know how you go in the theater from the light to the dark? Man, it was pitch black in there. And it's a love story. See, I'm standing there in front of people, they can't even see the show. And they wondering why I'm standing. I'm standing because I can't see. And love lifted me up. She got talk crazy to her. She came up. Come on, baby. Let me help you see. But I would rather look good, right? And couldn't see. Because I wanted acceptance. I wanted people not to tease me. I wanted people to like me. And I thought I would look better without my glasses. Can anybody in this room identify with that? Yeah, ain't that something? See, I was so glad they made contact with me, I didn't know what to do. And they done made them years ago, it changed my life. But I'm telling you, we as parents, right? We as parents, we have to validate our love and affection with our children. We have to fortify them with the doctrinal pregnant thing. I can't say that word. We have to fortify our children with this doctrine that says, I love you. Love lifts you up. There's so many of our kids today going out into the battlefield, and I call that society, with the spirit of nobody care about me. Do anybody know anybody like that? You know what I mean? We got young people going to prison for a long time for committing crimes just to be a part of something. Just to be a part of something. They got these gangs out here. They got Crip, Blood, GD. They got Heartless Fellas. Anybody, you ever heard of Heartless Fellas? You got work for me, dude. I gave you $10. You're supposed to say, yeah. But anyway, the Heartless Fellas. I mean, we losing our children. We losing our children at epic proportion. And so I'm saying, you parents, as parents, we got to, first thing in the morning, we got to love our kids. Last thing at night, we have to love our kids. We got to embrace our kids. We have to talk to our kids, not talk at them. Talk to them, get to know them. Is that right? So, as I get ready to end and close with this thing, because I need my plate, I want to tell everybody, you know, in the church, man, the church is a wonderful, wonderful place to fellowship, man. And y'all, and I came in here, when I came in this room, you could tell, you know, it's a spirit of love in here, and you can feel it. But I challenge each and every one of you, seriously, to do this, because there's so many people back behind prison walls that's forgotten. I'm serious. There's so many people back behind prison walls that's forgotten. There's so many people in society that's homeless that we walk by every day, and it's like they just a fixture on the sidewalk, right? There's so many people hungry, afraid, scared. And if you really love Jesus, right, like you say you do, then you'll recognize these people. You'll reach out. You know, an encouraging word, man, to somebody, a smile. Sometimes, you know, just to say, hey, man, how you doing? What's your name? How's it going? Just that means a lot to some people that feel invisible. You never know how you can affect somebody's life, because you know what? If you don't recognize them, how you have infected their life. And it's a big difference. And so as I close, you know, I just say, I love you all, and really thanks for having me out here, and hopefully I'll be back, and let's get them. Praise the Lord.